Hello again, Michael Friedberg here from beautiful North Carolina. Today I have two and a half new products for review. The first is the shaving soap from Pereira Shavery from Portugal. This is a charcoal activated soap. It is mostly vegan but does contain lanolin, so if you're sensitive to lanolin, just be careful with this soap. As you can see, it is very black. That's the activated charcoal in there. I will get that lathered up in just a moment, not in the lathering bowl, because one of the other products I have for review today, or really just to use, is a shaving scuttle from Pereira Shavery as well. So I have the brush for today, which is the Greydog mixed 70-30 Badger boar brush with the cocobol or rosewood, I believe is what the handle is. Beautiful brush. Decided to pull this one back out again. It's been soaking in the scuttle, which is full of hot water. There you go. I have not used one of these before. I've used this a couple times during the week. It is full of hot water, and there is water in the bowl section. That's where I've been soaking the brush. What I'm going to do is actually tip all that water out when I begin to lather, because it's actually quite hard to hold it and lather with all the water in there. It tends to sort of glug out. So before I start that, let me just go ahead and assemble the razor, which for today is going to be, see if you can guess that from the top cap. It is going to be the Gillette new long comb. A Gillette platinum blade in here. Started the week off with a Kai, which maybe wasn't the best possible choice, but also not the worst choice. Base plate with that very cool single groove all the way across, which I really quite like as a design. Matches up with the bar inside the top cap. I do have a washer on here. That washer fits exactly in between. I actually had to snip it because the gap between the two bars is slightly smaller than the washer, so I've just clipped the edges, and I'm using that with the West Coast shaving brass handle that I received from Jason Brugman. So thank you for that, Ruds. It is the third shave on that blade. As always, 2 days worth of growth ready to go. So let me wet my face. I'm going to empty out the scuttle. We'll start loading the brush and then refill the scuttle so that I have nice hot lather, very luxurious lather throughout the shave. All right, there's that. I think that the last time I bowl lathered may have been once when Darren Webster begged me to do it. I acquiesced because he was being so whiny about it. All right, here we go. Brush is well soaked through. I'm going to shake out most of the water, not all of it. There is the soap. I'm going to load relatively heavy. The lather does have a slightly grayish tint to it, by the way. So if you really build up a lot of lather, you'll be able to see that there is a grayish tint to it. And if you sort of get some of a light colored towel, you may notice a bit of an initial gray stain as well. Hard soap, by the way. I'm going to continue to load. I'm going to drip a little bit of water in there. And remember, at this point, I am just loading the brush. I'm going to build a lather inside the scuttle in just a moment. All right, we almost have enough inside the brush there. A little more. Just a touch. Yeah, that's starting to form a nice paste inside the container. Yeah, the way the soap is poured inside the container, by the way, once it's in there, it's actually quite hard to get it out. You sort of have to really shake it or tilt it at a kind of an odd angle, so I've left it in there. I've just been loading the brush from inside the container, which is totally fine. I've just made sure that it actually dries out between uses. All right, so I have the scuttle. I'm now going to begin to bowl lather. I think once every 5 years is probably fine to bowl lather. All right, I'm just going to tip a bit of water in there, make sure that the bottom of the scuttle is just wet, and then yeah, part of this is the clanking sound right away for me. Is like, oh, I hate that clanking sound. And if I remember correctly, in the last video that I did this, you know, you're putting a lot of work into lathering, but there's really nothing happening on your face. So in terms of the prep on your face, I always feel like face lathering is just the better choice, but that's for me. If you love to bowl lather, then by all means, bowl lather. I hope you can see that there's a slight grayish tinge to the lather there. And there's definitely some lather building up. I don't think the bowl is going to completely fill with lather, but there will certainly be plenty in there and in the brush. And what I'll do is I'll fill the scuttle with hot water, completely fill it, and then be able to sort of lean the brush into it, just adding a bit more water there. Try to pull some of that lather out of the handle. Normally you don't hold the scuttle over your sink quite in that precarious a position, but you know, for the purposes of education and entertainment. All right. There is lather. All right, I'm going to dip just a tiny bit more water. This soap is a little bit thirsty. See, I feel like we've done quite a bit of work to build the lather, but you haven't really worked on your face at all. So the other thing is, as the lather builds, it does tend to come out of the bowl. That's just normal. All right, I'm just going to tip that back in there. I'm going to now fill the scuttle portion with hot water. Apologies for the noise. There we go, just a little more. There we go, to the brim. All right, I'm going to wet my face again, and then we'll apply the lather. There we go. That is already nice and warm. I sort of can't help myself. This has happened both times I've used the scuttle before. Kind of can't stop myself from a little bit of face lathering. There we go. All right, I'm going to just tip the brush and lean it back into the scuttle so that it stays warm for the next two passes. All right, Gillette new long comb. So this is about 100 years old, close enough for government business. This is a efficient razor, if not a comfortable razor. So you just need to sort of watch it. And with the heavier handle, you just have to really just watch the pressure here. So first pass with the grain, or mostly with the grain. Yeah, I like this razor, but I don't love this razor. First pass is always very good. It's probably the most comfortable of the bunch, but that doesn't mean that it's comfortable. I think the way I described it last time was that the razor is efficient, but not very refined. Which is no slam. I mean, this is from 100 years ago. Things have come quite a way since then, with some notable progress and, in fact, some regression. Yeah, right there you can begin to feel more efficient than comfortable. There we go. A little too much coffee and not enough food this morning. All right, first pass done. Soap is partially hard to rinse, and you can feel some residual slickness, but not a tremendous amount of residual slickness. All right, lots of glugging from the scuttle. So there it is. I'm just going to pull out the brush, which has been resting comfortably. Even though that scuttle is in no danger of falling, something about it tells me that thing could fall. All right, reapply the lather. Yeah, this is nice and warm, and I have to agree, this is certainly a very luxurious experience. I'm going to pull some of this up now. That looks pretty good, but it is still a little bit airy. And although I've had no issues making a lather, the soap is still a little bit thin. And for me, on these next two passes, lacking a little bit of slickness and lacking some protection. So lather looks good, but it's just falling below a bar for me. All right, let's go ahead and get the second pass going. I think, and I've not seen a lot of reviews of this, but I think, at least I have the impression that this soap enjoys overall pretty good reputation. But I have to say, for me, it is missing just a touch of slickness. It's just falling a notch below where I would like it to be. And in terms of the protection, I feel like even though it is definitely slick when you rinse your face, particularly for a razor like this, just not enough there. And if you enjoy this soap, the fact that it's not really there for me should not detract from your enjoyment, right? It's just sharing our experiences here. Particularly on that portion of the shave, both in the second and third pass, just missing something. There we go, second pass done. Let's rinse off. Yeah, activated charcoal is supposed to help with detoxifying or cleansing the skin. It's very hard to tell, obviously, from the shape my skin is in, whether that's like a dramatic benefit or not, but it's certainly not hurting at all. Okay, I'm just gonna pull out as much of the lather as I can. And you can see there, hope you can kind of catch a bit of a grayish tinge to it. Oh, I think I lost another hair. I've had a hair or so fall out every day, but not worried at all. Pull out some of the lather from the brush. And as I said, that certainly looks good. That's got a nice kind of density and consistency to it, but at least for me, it is just a little too low on the slickness. There we go. Plenty of lather in there, by the way, for our fourth pass. I've had no issues creating volumes of lather. That's really not the problem. Let me just get my mustache area again. All right, the against the grain pass. Here's where that issue with the slickness is the most noticeable for me. God, there's so much water running down my arm. Very, very light touch. But even with that light touch, I just don't feel like razor is really gliding over the skin. No. I've had a small drop every day, a little bit, just a little touch someplace where either I've overshaved or just where the razor just not moving smoothly enough. This blade definitely better than the Kai. Yep, just like that. Almost done. Yeah, I'm trying to shave sort of really against the grain on my chin. Is just uncomfortable enough because I just don't feel like there's enough slickness in the soap to make that really a satisfying shave motion. So what I've done some of the other days is just do a kind of another altered pass, like a kind of a mixture of across and against. Soap is definitely slick when you get it wet. So for residual slickness, definitely there. Doesn't rinse off easily either, which, you know, usually bodes well for the soap. But all right, I'm going to rinse off my face as much as I can and then towel off. Yeah, like I said, you know, the fact that this soap is not really 100% working for me should not dissuade you from using the soap or from loving the soap. If you already love it, fantastic. Post-shave for me has also not been great. It is more drying than I expected. It does contain lanolin, but even so, if I don't apply a post-shave, which is the third product I'll be reviewing for today, I can definitely tell pretty quickly skin is pretty dry. Like that. You can feel a little bit of tightness already. All right. Well, let's move on from the soap to the aftershave. So if you remember, it's been quite a while already, but I was gifted a flask of Sē'bŭm Gold, which was an oil-based post-shave serum. I had a number of complaints about that product, mostly because the packaging made it very difficult to actually dispense the product properly. It was a very large container and it was quite expensive. So if you wanted to try it, you were buying a very large container of something that I felt was quite hard to dispense, and where the product itself, in terms of the scent, really was not that pleasant. So the owner of that company has taken that feedback, not just from myself, but from a number of other people, and has returned with a second formulation for the scent, and also different size containers and different style containers for the actual dispensing of the product. So what I was sent was a refill size bottle of the Sē'bŭm Gold, which I have decanted in its entirety into the actual dispenser. This does come with a very nice sort of hand-carved cork, which was really in there, which I really pressed back in there, I may not be able to get back out again, but The cork is really in there when it ships. There we go. As you can see, cut down to size and fits in extremely very tight, and then is dipped in wax for the seal. So I decanted that into the actual bottle, which is this style, which is a hand ground glass bottle. So it has a glass stopper. It's just a stopper. There's no other top to this, so it would be unwise to have this tip over. The way this dispenser works is that there is a small groove in the dispenser itself, and as you tip it, and you tip it slowly, it dispenses a drop at a time. I've used between 3 and 5, 4 drops seems to be about right. So what happens is, let's see if I can get this to just go slow. As you tip it, it'll slowly fill the channel, 2, 3, and then as it begins the 4th one, stop right there. And that will allow you to dispense 4 drops very cleanly, very easily. Much easier than the original container. The size is much better because it's a smaller bottle. Now, this still remains a premium, sort of high-end men's grooming post-shave product. It is, in the scheme of things, certainly expensive. There's no doubt about that. But the overall presentation, the availability of the product, the way that it works is much better. And the scent, in this case, is I think it's Lavender and Mint Julep is the way it's described. And it is a much nicer, light lavender and slight mint scent, which as you warm it up, sort of the mint and a slight cooling menthol-like effect comes to the front, but very briefly. It is the same kind of light, dry oil, so it goes in very quickly. There's no kind of oily, greasy feel to it. It feels light on the face. It soaks in, but does leave, and you can feel sort of the suppleness of your skin for quite a while. In fact, for hours afterwards. I've been using this twice a day, both post-shave and before I go to bed at night. And like with the original product, I really like what this does for my skin. It's a very easy to apply product. It's not oily or greasy. It goes right in. It makes my skin feel supple, and that suppleness stays for quite a long time. You have to sort of balance the presentation and the cost of this product against the skin benefits that you might reap. And so it's nice you can actually get into this with a much smaller size container, which I think this is a great move on their part. Much easier for people to decide to go ahead and give this a try, because the other bottle was just this, I think it was a 5-ounce bottle, was just simply too much. Yeah, that has been an excellent end to the shave. Really like that product. I'm glad to see that he was taking feedback and able to adapt the product, not just in terms of the product for the scent, but also for the packaging and the the size and the pricing, obviously for the sample sizes. I mean, for the refill sizes. So once you have this bottle, this dispenser, you can just continue to purchase the refill, which is great. Okay, that's that. That is a nice way to end that shave. Let's do a quick recap of all the products. There is the soap in the container, as you can see, very dark, very black soap, white, slightly gray slather. This is the Pereira Shavery shaving soap. This does come in a number of different presentations. I think there's actually kind of a very nice high-end ceramic bowl with a very similar design on the cap. That does look very cool. The soap for me though is not really a winner. I don't really feel like it has enough slickness. A little light on the protection for me. I know that other people love it, and that's fine. If it works for them, fantastic. For me, just not enough slickness or protection there. Unfortunately, however, I have quite enjoyed using the scuttle. Apologies for the glugging sound, but there it is, including the mixed badger and boar brush from Greydog. So thank you for the loan of both the soap and the scuttle. You know who you are. The post shave for today, we just discussed this in detail. It is the Sē'bŭm Purple in this case, not the Sē'bŭm Gold, which was the previous product I'd used. And it's kind of cool to see that, yes, in fact, the color of the wax corresponds to the actual product. That's a nice touch. Very nice post-shave product. The razor for today, our dear friend, the Gillette new long comb on this brass handle from West Coast Shaving. Thank you once again, Jason Rubman. Much appreciated. That's really it. We're all done for today. Yeah, there you go. Thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate the time you're taking to watch these videos. I certainly appreciate all the questions and the comment. Please feel free to continue to comment on any past videos, and please leave a question or comment on this one. As always, thanks again so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.